Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Fern Creek Stickers, and I'm here today with a little haul, and I'll also be doing a pen test. So I have all these things that I'm going to be using for my planning for the second half of the year. And in a lot of ways, I really feel like my year is starting in July because the first part of the year was really just about survival with taking care of a baby. So I'm excited to get my life a little bit more together as I've got more time and energy at this point. So I've got a bunch of different things here that I'll be going through, but we'll start with the actual planner. Set this, rest of this off to the side. So I'm going to be using the Hobonichi Cousin, but I'm going to be using the Avec, which is just a 6-month planner. So what I realized, I have the full year version, but I realized like right now all it does, it's got like pages with random sticker tests in it, and otherwise it's blank. And I figured, like, since there is a version of this that's only 6 months, it's kind of nice to start fresh and not have a planner that's mostly blank except for random test pages in it. So I figured I would start fresh. So this has, again, what these planners are known for is they have the monthly spread, weekly spreads, and then also daily spreads. So super thin paper, but everything all in one planner. The one downside of the Avec is that it is only in Japanese, and you know, a lot of it doesn't matter. Like, I don't care about these quotes. I think the quotes are kind of weird anyway, and I'll cover them up. So I don't care if the quotes are in Japanese. I actually think it's kind of cool. So, and you know, still I can tell what day it is on here. So a lot of it doesn't matter. Some of these things, you know, you can obviously figure out what days and months these are, but I did make some stickers that, like, these go in here to show what day of the week it is. So I did make some stickers to cover up the Japanese where it's relevant, and I'll be doing a setup video, so you'll see me do all of that. So there are a few things that you need to work around, but otherwise I feel like it's nice to have this as a smaller planner and to kind of start fresh in July. So this is my planner. Then I guess the other thing too that I have are the Moxie Life goal setting companion notebooks. So I really like the Moxie Life system. It really works with how my brain works for thinking about goals. I did not have any goals the first part of this year. So again, I feel like I'm kind of starting fresh at this point in the year. So I decided to get these. So in the past, I've used the 7x9 Moxie Life planners and just use the goal setting stuff and not use the actual weekly spread. But I figured I might as well use the companion notebooks because they're essentially designed for that. They're designed for if you have a planner you like and just want the goal setting, that's what they have. So this little book gives you kind of the goal setting instructions. So this, I plan to go through and get my goals set. And again, the Moxie Life system is nice that it really doesn't take that long to do this. So that's something that I want to get done over the long weekend and get my goals set. And then it comes with these quarterly notebooks. And so inside, these have, there are monthly spreads. It's all undated. There's monthly spreads, and then you get places for your monthly goals, and then you have your weekly reflections and weekly action pages. So just the goal setting stuff. And what's nice with these too, and I really should have used these before, and obviously I'm only going to use 2 of these in the second half of the year, but I wouldn't be surprised if I end up sticking with this. And you can see that the pages are perforated, so that's nice too. You can pull them out, and we'll see. I'll show you what I'm going to put my Hobonichi in, and I'll probably experiment with whether or not I want to bring the full book with me or just tear out the pages. But this way, before I'd had the goal setting part of the 7x9 planner sitting out on my desk, but this gives me a way to like have it with me wherever I am, which really appeals to me. So I'm excited about using these along with the Cousin. So those are the actual planners. Then let's get into the cover that I got. So this is a little bit of a splurge, a little extra. So I have a Moterm cover, and we will unbox it here. And obviously you do not need a cover for your planner, but I was feeling a little bit extra, and I wanted to have something to protect my planner a little bit. So I got this, and I went with this olive green. This is really pretty, and it's not, I guess now I'm thinking about it, like it's not a super summery color. I feel like I should have picked something a little more year-round or summery, but this will be perfect for fall and for winter. So let's see what's inside here. So it's got a lot of different pockets, and see, this is where you can put 2 planners in. So if I want to, I can put both the Moxie Life and the Hobonichi in these 2 pockets. So that's what I'm going to experiment with, whether I want to have both planners, but they do, the 2 of them fit in there pretty nicely. So I'll figure out what I want to do in terms of taking both planners with me, or just the Hobonichi and then the relevant pages from this. But there's 2 little bookmarks that are built in, and that's going to be nice for, again, in the Hobonichi, you've got all those different spreads in there. And we've got a lot of different pockets. So these 2 pockets go different directions, and then lots of little pockets here, and then also a big pocket on the top. So lots of storage in there, and a pen loop. So the Moterm covers are really affordable leather planner covers. They've got lots of different colors and styles. I know it's a brand that a lot of people like. So this is the first one that I have, and yeah, I think this is really pretty. I love the green color, and I think that will be perfect to use. Then the other thing I have, this is a little random, but I was looking for Hobonichi accessories, and this came up as something suggested, and I was like, well, why not give it a try? So this is a pencil board, and so essentially this is just a thin piece of plastic that you can use to, like, it's, you know, when you're writing, when you have a notebook or a planner, and there's like, you get to a part of the planner when you're like at the perfect place for writing, that it's like the right amount of pages behind it. And so this is supposed to give you, like, wherever you're writing in your planner, it gives you kind of the perfect amount of pressure behind, and is going to keep like pencil marks or pen marks from, like, you know, bleeding through and marking. So, you know, again, I don't know if I'll end up using this or not, but for me, I'm getting used to the Hobonichi paper, but that's the biggest barrier for me. If you've been around here, you know that I love the Erin Condren paper, and this is like the opposite of that. So I'm going to, yeah, so I'll see, having the pencil board may help me, and I really do. This fits, this is supposed to fit the cousin, so it fits really nicely here, and I can feel that it's gonna make it easier to write behind. So again, we'll see how good I am about using this, but it was not very expensive, so I figured I would get it and give it a try. And other than the Moxie Life notebooks, all of that was from Amazon. And then I also have a jet pens order, and I went a little overboard ordering different pens to try out in the Hobonichi, because I think, again, going back to the paper, what pen to use is my biggest challenge. And I haven't been super happy with any of the pens I have on hand with my go-tos for a long time. So I figured that I would try ordering some new pens and try them out. And then I also, I guess I've got a couple non-pen things in here too. So I got, this glue tape is recommended for the Hobonichi. For the tape runners that I usually use, like in my memory planner, are these ones. And this is kind of a thick adhesive. This is supposed to be a really nice thin adhesive. And so again, good for the Hobonichi paper. So I don't plan to primarily use it for memory planning, but I'm sure that on some of the daily pages I will be putting stuff in there. So I figured I would give this a try and see if this is good on the Hobonichi pages. And then I also got some tabs. So let me open this, because you probably can't see very well the actual tabs, so that I can put tabs in for jumping directly to the pages that I want to. So you can see, oops, there's 2 of these. So they are clear with a colored edge, and they fold over. So again, in my setup video, I will put these in the planner. And I guess I could write on these if I wanted to, so maybe that's what I'll need to figure out, because I think these are really cute, but there's lots of shops that sell tabs with months on them, and that's maybe something that I will make and add to the shop. We'll see. So these don't have the months written on them, but at the same time, since there's only 6 months, it's not gonna be hard to figure out which month I need. So I could probably write the months on these, but I'm not sure that I need to. But I like the rainbow. These colors are really pretty. So I've got tabs as well. Then we'll get into the pens. So I got a bunch of pens to try out. Yes, a bunch of pens. And some of these I did get, it's like the same pen, but in different thicknesses, like these two multi-packs are all different thicknesses, because for me that's a big part of it, is figuring out what the right thickness is to get that right look. And especially I think part of the challenge is figuring out what pen works well on both stickers and the paper, because some like especially some of these, I don't know, the pens like this, I'm blanking on what the right category of pen these are, like these kind of felt tip pens, they bleed a little bit too much for my liking on stickers. So I am going to grab my the cousin that I'm not using and go ahead and get some pen testing started. All right, so let's find a blank page in the cousin here and get started on testing pens. So first I got these Jetstream pens, and these are actually interesting. So these are actually ballpoint pens, and I'm pretty sure they're ballpoint pens, but this is a pen that I used to use a lot. This was my dad's favorite pen, and he bought me like a huge case of them, and I used these for a long time when I was in grad school until I ran out of the ones my dad gave me, and then they were too expensive for me to afford on a grad school budget. But I loved these pens, and these were actually, I feel like with ballpoint pens it's really hard to use up a whole pen, but these ones I like used up. So I've got this in two different thicknesses. So let's try this 0.38. Okay. And that is, so you get just a little bit of smear right away. I'm sure if I let that sit just a minute, or just a few seconds, yeah, then there's no smear. But this I think is a little too thin for my liking. So we'll see how the 0.5 is. Oops. I forgot what I was doing. Yeah, this is really nice. I like the thickness of this, and yeah, it is. I'm like second guessing. I was, from when I was researching pens and when I used this before, I'm almost positive it's a ballpoint pen, even though it looks kind of like a gel pen, but it does write really nicely and really not a lot of smearing. So I think this might be a very good contender. Yeah, that does write really smoothly, and you don't get the weird like skips that you can get with a ballpoint pen sometimes. And as you can tell, I've never done a pen test before, so I'm figuring this out. Then, okay, this is the Pentel Energel 05. Yeah, and that's kind of smeary. If I wait a second, or wait a few seconds, let's see how this is. Okay, so it does dry pretty quickly, but the problem is I'm just not used to having to wait for something to dry, and I think if I need to wait for something to dry, I'm going to be in trouble. So this one I'm not so sure is going to be a good fit for me. Okay, then I have the Sarasa Mark On, and I have got 0.4 and 0.5. I'll try this one. Okay, that's not too smeary. Okay, so that one dries pretty fast. I got a little smear there. Yeah, that writes pretty nicely. So I think this one's probably another contender. I do have to wait for this to dry just a little bit, but it's not bad. Let's see how the 0.5 is. No, that one is a bit smearier, which makes sense because there is more ink coming out. All right, if we wait a few seconds, yeah, that's still a bit smeary. Yeah, that does write nicely, but I think that one, like this is too thin for me. This is a nice, usually I would use pens that 0.5 is usually what I gravitate towards, but the 0.4 is not bad. So I feel like that's a contender. Then we've got the Sarasa Dry, and with this too, like I have not experimented much with pens because I had a pen I really liked. So I know that these are a lot of pens that a lot of you have probably already tried. So let's try this one. Yeah, okay, so that one is pretty smeary right away. We let it dry for a few seconds. Okay, that's still kind of smeary. I do like how that writes. I see why people like this. It writes really smoothly. It's got a nice smooth writing to it, but I think that might be too smeary for me. And then this is Friction. And so I don't know why I wrote that one in cursive, but this is an erasable pen. And that I just don't like the color of that. It's not super black. It looks more gray, and it's kind of smeary too. So I think that's a no-go. But I've never tried erasable pen before. But you also have to be careful with erasable pen with, like, you can't put it in, you can't leave it in your hot car. Stuff will disappear. Okay, so those are the gel and ballpoint pens. Then we have the, again, I'm blanking on like what to call these. I guess these are like felt tip pens. So we've got the Micro Perm, and I have the Micro Perm 03, and I've already tried that on the Hobonichi paper, and it seemed a little too, it was a little too big for me actually, using it on the paper and stickers. So I'm gonna try the 01, which is obviously tiny. Let's see. Yeah, I like the width of that a lot better. Okay, and this dries pretty fast actually. Okay, so this is another contender, I think. It's definitely a different feel to write with than with a gel pen or even a ballpoint pen, but I do like how that looks. And let me grab a piece of sticker paper and see how. Okay, so it is a little, because hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. It's like a little bleedy on here. It looks a little thicker. Let me see if I try to write less heavy-handed. Yeah, so it's not bad, but I guess it's getting a little bit thick for me when you're on the sticker paper. But this definitely, though, in terms of not smearing, that's amazing. That dries super fast. So that is a huge thing for me, because I don't want my planner to look all smeary. So that is probably in contention, even though I don't love how it looks on the stickers. So then I've got the microns. So let's take a look at these. So this has a ton of different widths. So maybe I'll start with the 02. There's a few small ones. So let's start with the 02 and see how that looks. Okay, so that looks even smaller than the Micro Perm, which is nice. Just a little bit of smear right away. If I just wait. Okay, a little bit of smear, but that's not bad. Let's see how the Micron is on here. I feel like that does look more crisp than the Micro Perm did, but then I've still got two smaller ones. So let's see how the Micron 01, which I think that's getting a little too small. It just, especially the way that it writes, the way that these kind of felt tip pens write, again, I feel there's a word for these kinds of pens that I'm totally forgetting about. I feel like it gets harder to write when they're this small, but I like how that looks. And then this one is tiny. This is a 005. Which actually, writing in cursive with this feels pretty good. Yeah, surprisingly, I feel like I like this one better than the 01. Let's see how this looks on stickers. Yeah, it writes a little bit thicker, but it's not, it doesn't get nearly as thick. Yeah, like that Micro Perm now looks way too thick. So, okay, so those are all the pens that I have. I feel like the Micron, this small Micron might be a contender. And then the Jetstream 0.5, let's see, which is this one. And then, let's see, the Marcon 0.4, that one had a little bit of bleed. or a little bit of smear, but wasn't too bad. So I feel like it's probably gonna be between these three, and which is interesting because they're three different kinds of pens. We've got a gel pen, a ballpoint pen, and kind of pen that I cannot remember what it's called. Somebody is probably out there watching this video like yelling at me with what this kind of pen is called. So I'll probably experiment with these a little bit more, and then once I pick one, I will order a bajillion of them. So that is my little Hobonichi haul and pen test video. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you enjoy as I try a different planner and different style of planning over the next 6 months. I hope that you all have a great week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye everyone.